242 words onwards. Hare Krishna, Kala Sudha Mataji. Accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining me during your association time this morning. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. I hope you're able to hear me clearly.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all so much for this opportunity to serve. Very grateful to all of you for your association. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swaminiti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Gramatarine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shavasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangur langayate girim yatkripātamaham vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So today we will read from Shri Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25. Reading from text 242 through to the end of this chapter. So today we will complete the entire Madhya Lila. So today we will start with text 242 because this is almost like the summary. These 40 verses is like the summary that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is giving of this entire Madhya Lila. So we thought, I discussed it with the organizers and we felt it would be appropriate for us to cover these entire verses and to thus complete the Madhya Lila today. So text 242. Madhya ক্রমে বে করি অনুবাদ কইলে হয় কথারও আস্বাদ. I shall now review the chapters of the Madhya Lila chronologically so that one can relish the transcendental features of this topics. 243. In the first chapter, I have given a synopsis of the last pastimes, the Antya Lila. Within this chapter is a vivid description of some of the pastimes of the Lord that took place toward the end of his life. 244. In the second chapter, I have described Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's talking like a crazy man. Within this chapter, it is indicated how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his different emotional moods. 245. In the third chapter, I have described the Lord's acceptance of the renounced order and how he enjoyed his pastimes at the house of Advaita Acharya. Just after Mahaprabhu took sannyas, the pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with Nityananda Prabhu at the home of Sri Advaita Acharya where they took prasad together. That is a very, very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pastime. So the purpose of, this synopsis, as is explained in text 242, is that the chronology will now remind us some of the highlights that we have been reading in this entire Madhya Lila, and we can relish these transcendental features of these topics. That is the purpose, the reason why that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is giving a synopsis of every chapter in the end. Text 246. In the fourth chapter, I have described Madhavendra Puri's installation of the Gopal deity, as well as Gopinath stealing a pot of condensed milk at Remuna. Basically, this chapter is glorifying Madhavendra Puri, his ultimate, mood of devotion, which is in the form of Mahabhav. After Srimati Radharani, if anyone is in the position of Mahabhav, it is described that it is Srila Madhavendra Puri. Of course, we do have also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it is Madhavendra Puri who manifested the Mahabhav mood of Srimati Radharani. So Madhavendra Puri is a very, very, very special personality. And our parampara, this Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we are so fortunate that we have these great stalwarts in our parampara. We have Narad Muni, Vyasadev, Madhavendra Puri. We have Madhvacharya before. We have Madhavendra Puri. Then we have Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. We have all the six Goswamis. These are powerful, powerful personalities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with the mood and the complexion of Srimati Radharani, is present here in our parampara. Can we imagine the glory, the potency of this parampara that we are connected to? And through the medium of initiation, when we receive initiation from a bona fide spiritual master of this parampara, we get access to this transcendental mellow. We get access to all of these wonderful acharyas. Just like how we get born into a different families have different roots, they have different lineages. So we have some traits of our forefathers that come down in our blood. That's what is family lineage. But similarly, when we get connected to the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we get their blood in our system.
Now we can hear.
Hare Krishna?
There was a little break, Mataji. Now it's fine. Continue, Mataji.
Okay. So this is what is the glory of our parampara. The glory of our parampara is to be understood in this way. Such a glorious parampara we have. So Madhavendra Puri, Krishna himself became a thief. Gopinath of Remuna, he became, worldly famous till today. He is called as Kirchor Gopinath, the Gopinath who stole a pot of kheer for his dearly beloved devotee Madhavendra Puri. Because Madhavendra Puri desired to taste that same kheer so that he could make a similar replica of it for his Gopal in Vrindavan. So Madhavendra Puri did desire to taste the kheer, but not for himself, but so that he could make a similar offering for his Gopal. That is the consciousness of a pure Vaishnava. They never think of themselves. They never think or live for themselves. So Krishna himself, Gopinath himself, hid one pot of kheer for Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri was such a humble, such a saintly Vaishnava that he just left. As soon as he had this thought in his mind, he immediately said that, oh, this is so offensive. How can I desire something when the Lord has not even accepted it? He felt so remorseful. He felt so guilty. So he immediately left that place. And that night, Gopinath came in the dream of the pujari and said, please go and I have saved a pot of kheer for my dear devotee Madhavendra Puri. Go and give it to him. So the middle of the night, the pujari came out and said, Madhavendra Puri, please come. Wherever you are, Gopinath has saved you. He has stolen a pot of kheer for you. Can we imagine what sort of devotee and relationship this is between the Lord and his dearly beloved devotee? So this gives us an aspiration. what we can also aspire to, so that we can, someday aspire maybe for 1% of such reciprocation from Krishna. Because such reciprocation is possible. It is there. Krishna has done this. So, this is our milestone. This is our standard that we can aspire to by imbibing the mood of humility, the mood of genuineness, the mood of service in surrender to Krishna and to the spiritual master. When we cultivate such mood, then the Lord will automatically reciprocate, just like he reciprocated with Srila Madhavendra Puri. Text 247. In the 5th chapter, I have narrated the story of Sakshi Gopal. Lord Nityananda Prabhu narrated this while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu listened. And when Mahaprabhu would listen to the glorification of Krishna from his dearly beloved either Lord Nityananda or Sri Gadadhar Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, sitting at Tota Gopinath, when he would listen, Mahaprabhu would become absorbed. He would just transport himself into that pastime. Mahaprabhu would literally live in that pastime. So Mahaprabhu has given us how the standard of how to listen to Leelas, how to listen to Katha, by becoming a part of the Katha, by experiencing the Katha ourselves, by literally envisioning what is happening in the Katha, by becoming a character as a servant in the entire Leela. That is how we must listen. So when Mahaprabhu was listening to the Sakshi Gopal Katha told so enthusiastically by Nityananda Prabhu, how Gopal, this beautiful Gopal deity, black stone deity, bedecked with gold jewelry, was dancing all the way from Braj. He was dancing behind this Brahmana, and he was coming to give Sakshi. He was coming to bear witness to the promise that the elderly Brahmana had given to this young Brahmana. That is Krishna. Never goes back on his word. He came to give witness. And the beauty of Gopal, the way it is being described here in this chapter, that when Krishna would dance, as Gopal, when he would dance and he was coming, his ankle bells were producing such a beautiful, enchanting sound that this Brahmana was just dancing in ecstasy all the way from Vrindavan, all the way to near Bhuvaneshwar, on the outskirts of Jagannath Puri. Such a beautiful pastime of Sakshi Gopal. Text 248. In the 6th chapter, I have told how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was delivered. And in the 7th chapter, I have described the Lord's tour of different holy places and his deliverance of Vasudev the leper. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Mahaprabhu revealed his Shadabhuj Mahaprabhu form to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, made him a great pure devotee of the Lord. Such amazing, amazing pastimes. Text 249. In the 8th chapter, I have recorded the Lord's elaborate discussion with Ramananda Roy. The Lord personally listened as Ramananda gave the conclusive essence of all Vedic literatures. To Ramananda Roy, Mahaprabhu revealed the form that Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. That Mahaprabhu is non-different from Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. This form was revealed to Srila Ramananda Roy. Such fortune, Ramananda Roy. And when Mahaprabhu was having discussion with him, Ramananda Roy started from the very basic philosophy. And Mahaprabhu would say, Iho Bajjo, that this is external. Let's move ahead. Let's go higher. Please go higher. And then Sri Ramananda Roy, he started describing the mood of the Brajavadhus, the mood of the gopis. And that's when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became mad with ecstasy, listening to the discussions on the banks of the Kaveri from Ramananda Roy. Beautiful, beautiful chapter. Text 250. In the 9th chapter, I have described the Lord's tour of South India and the different places of pilgrimage. In the 10th chapter, I have described his meeting.
Hare Krishna. Is it breaking only for me or everybody? No, it's for everyone because it depends on the internet quality. It's fine now. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think there is a problem from Mataji's side because her connection is a little weak compared to what.
So maybe because I have a lot of things here in the sense that my Prabhu is also working from home. So maybe because of that, the bandwidth is a little stretched.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Mataji, you can off the video and we can share a poster instead of your video. That may help. We can understand class properly, right? It's breaking in between.
Okay, I can do that. Let's try that. Okay. So in the 9th chapter, I have described the Lord's tour of South India and the different places of pilgrimage. In the 10th chapter, I have described his meeting with all his devotees. So the South India tour, such a beautiful tour. So many things happened in the South India Yatra. Mahaprabhu meeting with a Brahmana who was an illiterate. He was reading the Bhagavad Gita upside down. And Mahaprabhu, and he was crying profusely. This Brahmana was crying. And Mahaprabhu came and asked him, "Why are you crying?" And then the Brahmana said, "Well, my Guru Maharaj, he told me to read the Bhagavad Gita every day. And I am reading the Bhagavad Gita every day, but I'm an illiterate. I don't know how to read. And therefore, I don't know whether I'm holding it straight or I'm holding it upside down." Mahaprabhu said, "Okay, that's fine, but why are you crying?" Then the Brahmana said that, "My Lord, I'm crying because I'm looking at this picture of Sri Chaitanya, of Krishna being the chariot driver for Arjuna. So when he is the chariot driver for Arjuna, how much Krishna is, he's subs to his devotee. What is the position of a chariot driver? A chariot driver takes the position of such a lowly person. The one who is the warrior in the actual chariot, he doesn't have time to tell the chariot driver, go right, go left, go straight. So if he has to go right, the warrior, he actually kicks the chariot driver on his right shoulder. If he has to go left, he kicks the chariot driver on his left shoulder. And move ahead is in the center. This is how they communicate. So Krishna was ready to receive the kicks from his devotee, Arjuna. How merciful is Krishna? So listening to this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced the Brahmana. And he said that you have actually understood the proper import of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So this is some of the things Mahaprabhu discovered. The 4 months of the rainy season, Mahaprabhu stayed in South India in one of the temples in Sri Rangam, and that's where he discovered the Brahma Samhita. So many wonderful things happened in the South India Yatra. Text 251. In the 11th chapter, I have described the great chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that surrounded the Lord. In the 12th chapter, I have given a narration of the cleansing and washing of the Gundicha temple. That Mahaprabhu, when he returned back from the South India Yatra, it was time for Rath Yatra, and before the Rath Yatra, there is Gundicha Marjanam. Text 252. In the 13th chapter, I have described Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the chariot of Lord Jagannath. In the 14th chapter, there is an account of the Hera Panchami function. Now, this Hera Panchami function is such a sweet nectarian Lila, such a beautiful Lila this is. This Hera Panchami comes on the 5th day. Because, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, on the Snan Yatra day, which comes before the Rath Yatra, that's when they get a public bathing. That's their appearance day. So they do public abhishek. And Jagannath gets bathed so much, Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra, they get bathed so much that they fall sick. They get high fever and they are in enclosure. They're in quarantine. They're in quarantine. So no one can visit them. Only the pujaris, they come and do very antaranga seva, very close seva to the deities. So then, when the Lord gets gradually all right and relieved of his fever, he then wants to come out and give his darshan to everyone. That's when he comes out in the Rath Yatra procession. So when he's coming out, he tells his wife, Lakshmi Devi, that my dear Lakshmi Devi, I'm just going for a little stroll. All these days I was inside with you and, taking services from you, Lakshmi Devi. You have served me so nicely. But now, let me just go out for a stroll with my brother and sister. And Lakshmi Devi says, yeah, go, go. And Jagannath says to her that you also take some rest. You've been serving us so much. So you must be so tired. So you take some rest. And we'll be back soon. Lakshmi Devi says, how soon you'll come back? He said, 1 or 2 days, maximum 1 or 2 days, just go for a stroll and we'll be back. So Lakshmi Devi says, all right, you go. So then Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra, nicely they come out in their chariot procession. In the grand way of the Rath Yatra, they come out. And when they come out, the entire creation comes to look at them, even including the devatas, the demigods. They come down from their heavenly planets to witness the Lord on his chariot, sitting magnanimously on his chariot. And then he comes out in great procession. He reciprocates with the devotees. He reciprocates with them by giving them, accepting their offering and giving them the merciful vision of his glance, the loving glance he bestows upon them. And then what happens? When the Lord comes to the Gundicha temple, to his aunt's home, it is said, to his aunt's home. He comes there and he stays there. And then the kind of service that the devotees at Gundicha are doing, the Lord is so much in love with that service, he forgets his promise to Lakshmi Devi. So Lakshmi Devi is waiting in the Garbha Mandir, in Sri Mandir, she's waiting. First day goes, second day goes, third day goes, fourth day goes. Then the fifth day, Lakshmi Devi says, oh, this is getting too much. I need to go and see what my husband and his brother and his sister, what are they up to? I need to go and see. So then Lakshmi Devi, she comes out in her procession with her servitors. She comes in a beautiful palanquin. She comes and she's looking, oh my Lord, where are you? Where are you? And then she hears that, oh, they are sitting in their auntie's home at Gundicha temple. So Lakshmi Devi straight goes there. But when she reaches, she sees that the Lord is nicely enjoying all majestic service and she goes so mad that the Lord has forgotten all about her. How could he do this? So like an angry wife, when the husband forgets his promise, the wife throws tantrums. So just in that way, same mood, Lakshmi Devi, she actually literally breaks the chariot of Lord Jagannath. Only Jagannath's chariot she breaks. She doesn't touch Balabhadra's, she doesn't touch Subhadra's, but only Jagannath's chariot, she breaks it so badly, she breaks it. That let me see now how you're going to come back. So in 2 days, the Jagannath's priests, the pandas, they have to get Jagannath's chariot together because the message went to Jagannath. Lakshmi Devi is super duper angry. And then when Jagannath is saying, yes, now we need to go, fix my chariot. As soon as my chariot is fixed, I'm going to go. So then in 2 days, the chariot is fixed. And then they have the Ultarath, that the Lord is now coming back to the Sri Mandir. And when the Lord is coming back, Lakshmi Devi's priests, her servitors are standing at the gate, at the entrance. And when they are standing at the entrance, Lakshmi Devi allows Balabhadra to come inside. She allows Subhadra to come inside. But as soon as Jagannath is about to enter, Lakshmi Devi's priests close the main entrance to the temple. They don't allow Jagannath to come. And then Jagannath tries to give expensive gifts to Lakshmi Devi. He gives her saris, he gives her jewelry, he gives her so many things, but she is not budging. And then he begs for forgiveness, that sorry, I am so sorry that I forgot. So I am back now and I will not go back again. So please, please allow me inside. So then Lakshmi Devi then opens the door and Jagannath comes inside. It's such a beautiful pastime. This Hera Panchami pastime is so beautiful. It was actually enacted one time in Sri Mayapur Dham by His Grace Jananivas Prabhu. Jananivas Prabhu dressed up as Lakshmi Devi, and he wore one of the gopi skirts of the gopis, the Ashtasakis, one of the used mahaskirts. And he dressed up so beautifully. He was really looking like Lakshmi Devi. He literally had a lotus flower twirling in his left hand, and he was brought in a palanquin, and he broke the chariot of Lord Jagannath. And that entire Lila was enacted so beautifully in the courtyard of Radha Madhava's temple. So very beautiful. Hera Panchami pastime is described here in the 14th chapter. Text 253, also in the 14th chapter, is an account of how the emotional ecstasy of the gopis was described by Swarup Damodar and tasted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Swarup Damodar is describing, the intimate mood of the gopis, and Mahaprabhu is relishing these intimate details. Text 254. In the 15th chapter, I have described how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu highly praised the qualities of his devotees and accepted lunch at the home of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And at that time, he delivered Amogha. Amogha was the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Text 255, in the 16th chapter, I have described how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed for Vrindavan and journeyed through Bengal. He later returned to Jagannath Puri from Kanai Natshala. Beautiful pastimes at Kanai Natshala, talking about Ganga Sagara, where Mahaprabhu took dips, and he left Krishna Prem for someone very, very special, for Narottam. When Narottam would take a dip in that same Ganga, at that same very spot, that Gauranga Prem would actually enter into Narottam Das Thakur's heart. So that was the place that Krishna Prem was hidden for Narottam at this spot at Kanai Natshala. Very special. Lila Sthali is there. And in Kanai Natshala was when Mahaprabhu first also saw Krishna. He embraced the Kadamba tree there. That tree is still there. Very beautiful place. Kanai Natshala is. We had the very good fortune of visiting there. It's a really, really fantastic place. Then text 256, in the 17th chapter, I have described the Lord's journey through the great forest of Jharkhand and his arrival at Mathura. In the 18th chapter, there is a description of his tour of the forest of Vrindavan. Text 257. In the 19th chapter, I've described how the Lord returned to Prayag from Mathura and empowered Sri Rupa Goswami to spread devotional service. 258. In the 28th chapter, the Lord's meeting with Sanatan Goswami is described. The Lord described the personal features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in depth. 259. In the 21st chapter, there is a description of Krishna's beauty and opulence. And in the 22nd chapter, there is a description of the twofold discharge of devotional service. 260. In the 23rd chapter, there is a description of the mellows of transcendental loving service. And in the 24th chapter, I've described how the Lord analyzed the Atma Rama verse in so many ways. Mahaprabhu gave a description of this Atma Rama verse. Very, very beautiful chapter. Text 261. In the 25th chapter, there is a description of how the residents of Varanasi were converted to Vaishnavism and how the Lord returned to Nilachal, to Jagannath Puri from Varanasi. 262, I have thus summarized these pastimes in the 25th chapter. Hearing this summary, one can understand the whole purport of this scripture. 263, I have now summarized the entire subject matter of the Madhya Lila. This pastimes cannot be described elaborately even in millions of books. And look at our audacity that we are trying to cover it in this one class. Text 264. To deliver all fallen souls, the Lord traveled from country to country. He personally tasted the transcendental pleasure of devotional service, and he simultaneously spread the cult of devotion everywhere. 265. Krishna consciousness means understanding the truth of Krishna, the truth of devotional service, the truth of love of Godhead, the truth of emotional ecstasy, the truth of transcendental mellows, and the truth of the pastimes of the Lord. So, Krishna consciousness is not a phantasmagoria. It is not just, dry history that we read. These are actual people. These are actual experiences. These are actual narrations in truth. Actually happened, not fictional. This is not a fictional, based story that we are reading. This is actual history, that has actually happened. That is the truth of these pastimes. Text 266, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally preached the transcendental truths and mellows of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical, for Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound incarnation of Krishna. Very powerful statement about the credibility of Srimad Bhagavatam, that Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from the personality of Krishna. In fact, each and every canto, the 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, actually are the personification of Krishna's body. Such beautifully this has been explained. Text 267, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu broadcast the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam. He sometimes spoke for the benefit of his devotees and sometimes empowered one of his devotees to speak while he listened. A very special thing that Mahaprabhu, although he is Krishna himself, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, there's no one superior to Krishna, to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in position. Nobody. Because he's the Yugala Murti of Radha and Krishna. So there's no one above that position. So here in this verse, it is said that Mahaprabhu, as a perfect Acharya, he not only spoke himself, but he also empowered one of his devotees to speak while he listened to them. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that this is the quality of an Acharya, that the Acharya gives training to his disciples. Srila Prabhupada did the exact very same thing. Srila Prabhupada would actually sit in the class when his disciples would speak. Doesn't that speak like millions of times on the stature of Srila Prabhupada? As a teacher, Srila Prabhupada, he is sitting in the class while one of his students, his disciple, is giving the class. We have seen that so many times even in our Guru Vargas. While the Guru is sitting in the public, in the audience, the disciple is speaking. That is the quality of an Acharya. That way the disciples are getting trained by the Guru personally, so that the Guru can listen and he can correct the disciple if that is needed. So training the disciple in this way so that the parampara can continue, that is the quality of an Acharya. And that's what's glorified here in this chapter. 268, all Zen men within these three worlds certainly accept the conclusion that no one is more merciful and magnanimous than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that no one is as kind to his devotees. Who can be as glorious and magnanimous like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? When Srila Haridas Thakur left his body, Mahaprabhu personally, with his own lotus arms, picked up the frail and old body of Haridas Thakur. And personally, he gave him the bath in the ocean, personally decorated the body of Haridas Thakur with sandalwood and tilak, and adorned him with fresh garlands that was offered to Lord Jagannath, and then gave him samadhi. Who will do this? Who will do such a thing? Mahaprabhu embracing Vasudev the leper and curing him from his leprosy. Such mercy, such magnanimity cannot be witnessed other than this personality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 270, text 269. All devotees should hear about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with faith and love. By the grace of the Lord, one can thus attain the shelter of his lotus feet. 270. By understanding the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can understand the truth about Krishna. By understanding Krishna, one can understand the limit of all knowledge described in revealed scriptures. So it is very clear that if we try to understand Krishna on our own, we can never be able to do so. It's only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we can get the revelation of Krishna and his pastimes. Only by Mahaprabhu's mercy. 271. The pastimes of Lord Krishna are the essence of all nectar. And that nectar is flowing in hundreds of rivers in all directions. The pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are an eternal reservoir and one is advised to let his mind swim like a swan on this transcendental lake. Just imagine the tranquility of this vision. Our mind like the swan swimming on this transcendental lake, which is the reservoir of all pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we are just swimming blissfully in that nectarian reservoir of water, of the reservoir of Mahaprabhu's Leelas. 272. With all humility, I submit myself to the lotus feet of all of you devotees, taking the dust from your feet as my bodily ornaments. Now, my dear devotees, please hear one thing more from me. The humility of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. That anyone who is reading this great literature, he is begging the dust of their lotus feet on his head. Such humility, such genuineness is very, very rare to find. And he's saying one thing, please hear one more thing. 273. Devotional service to Krishna is exactly like a pleasing, jubilant forest of lotus flowers wherein there is ample honey. I request everyone to taste this honey. If all the mental speculators bring the bees of their minds into this forest of lotus flowers and jubilantly enjoy ecstatic love of Krishna day and night, their mental speculation will be completely, transcendentally satisfied. Imagine a garden full of bliss, full of lotus flowers, and our minds are like those bumblebees. We are just getting attracted to the lotuses, the honey in the lotuses. So this is what is devotional service to Krishna. That garden of lotus is like the devotional service to Krishna. 274. The devotees who have a relationship with Krishna are like the swans and the chakravaka birds who play in that forest of lotus flowers. So devotees have very special privilege to play in the devotional service garden of lotuses and, like swans and the chakravaka birds. The buds of those lotus flowers are the pastimes of Krishna, and they are edibles for the swan-like devotees. So devotees actually drink the nectar from these lotuses. Lord Sri Krishna is always engaged in his transcendental pastimes. Therefore, the devotees following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can always eat those lotus buds, for they are the pastimes of the Lord. That's how they feel so satisfied, so nourished, because they're following in the footsteps of Mahaprabhu, who is constantly drinking that nectar, and Mahaprabhu is giving all of us a chance to also taste that same nectar. 275. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should go to that lake, remaining always under the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, become swans and chakravaka birds in those celestial waters. They should go on rendering service to Lord Krishna and enjoy life perpetually. In this way, all miseries will be diminished, the devotees will attain great happiness, and there will be jubilant love of God. Such beautiful benedictions are given here in these verses. That can anyone stay away? Srila Prabhupada always used to say one thing, that I am giving you the process by which you can stay high forever. And this is the way we can stay high forever. We don't need anything else. Just in the association of loving devotees, of like-minded devotees, we just go on swimming in this transcendental lake where there is, filled with these lotuses of Krishna's Leelas. And while we are just following like these Chakravaka birds, we are following the moon-like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chakravaka birds mean the birds who subsist on the nourishment coming from the moon. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the golden moon, and therefore we are like Chakravaka birds. We are just following this golden moon, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 277, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are full of nectar, and the pastimes of Lord Krishna are like camphor. When one mixes these, they taste very sweet. By the mercy of the pure devotees, whoever tastes them can understand the depth of that sweetness. Edible camphor, when we add it to any kind of drink or even just water or even any kind of dessert that we may be making, it makes that dessert, so good to taste. So it is said here that Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes are like nectar. And Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, is like camphor. So when added into Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the taste is exceptionally sweet. The combination is perfect. And we can never come out of such sweetness if we experience it once. 278, men become strong and stout by eating sufficient grains, but the devotees who simply eats ordinary grains but does not taste the transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna gradually becomes weak and falls down from the transcendental position. However, if one drinks but a drop of the nectar of Krishna's pastimes, his body and mind begin to bloom and he begins to laugh, sing, and dance. So just a drop can make us, experience bliss. And devotees, their ultimate ambition, their ultimate objective is to dive into this nectarian ocean. 279, the readers should relish this wonderful nectar because nothing compares to it. Keeping their faith firmly fixed within their minds, they should be careful not to fall into the pit of false arguments or the whirlpools of unfortunate situations. If one falls into such positions, he is finished. This is the verdict of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that do not get deviated. Oh, my dear devotees, do not get deviated. Just relish these pastimes and just stick to the process of pure devotional service as given by our acharyas. Do not deviate. Don't fall into the whirlpool of finding faults with others, getting into false arguments with others, or any kind of unfortunate situations. Spiritual life is like walking on the sharp edge of a razor. Be very, very careful how we are putting our next step. 280, in conclusion, I submit to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, and all the other devotees and readers that I accept your lotus feet as the helmet on my head. In this way, all my purposes will be served. Text 281. Taking the feet of Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Jiva Goswami on my head, I always desire their mercy. Thus I, Krishnadas, humbly try to describe the nectar of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which are mixed with the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Nectar mixed with camphor. That is what Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is offering to all of us. Text 282, for the satisfaction of Sri Madan Gopal and Govinda Dev, we pray that this book, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, may be offered to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the final verse of this Madhya Lila, chapter 25, the concluding verse of this Madhya Lila is Text 283, the Chaitanya Charitamrita pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constitute a very secret literature. It is the life and soul of all the devotees. Those who are not fit to relish this literature, who are envious like hogs and pigs, will certainly not adore it. However, this will not harm my attempt. These pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will certainly please all saintly people who have clear hearts. They will certainly enjoy it. We wish that this will enhance their enjoyment more and more. So with this, we come to the conclusion of the Madhya Lila. If there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki jai. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for doing this wonderful summary and making us remember all the pastimes that were discussed. It was a very nice revision for all of us. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much for your association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for the beautiful class and nice pastimes, Mataji, about that Lakshmi Devi pastime. It was very nice, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila, that how that Brahmana was holding the Bhagavad Gita, and that pastime was also very nice, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Gandharvika. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Is there anybody having any questions for Mataji? Please ask.
All right, if there's no more questions, we can end here.
1 second, Mataji. 1 second. Mataji, Paneshwari Lakshmi Mataji is silent. It's muted, it seems. Can you see, is she having any question? Mataji, you have any question? Can you type it?
She's now unmuted. You can speak.
No, it wasn't that I was muted. It was just that when Mataji was talking, it kept going silent for me when between every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that was there, Mataji, because of the bandwidth issue from...
Oh, okay. I joined late, so I didn't know. I just wanted to make sure that, and I didn't want to disturb the class. That's why I put it in the chat. Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Danu Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I just had a question. We know, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, we know, Srila Prabhupada has given all the, wanted to comprise everything in Srimad Bhagavatam. But then when we are reading the introduction, much of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are mentioned over there. So was there a specific reason that Srimad Bhagavatam, the very first, had everything from Lord Chaitanya's life?
The reason is that, see, Srimad Bhagavatam is like the stepping stone to Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Srila Prabhupada, even if you read Bhagavad Gita, even in the Bhagavad Gita introduction, Srila Prabhupada is talking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Prabhupada, even in his Bhaktivedanta purports, be it whether in even if it is in Srimad Bhagavatam, or if it is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita itself, or in the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada always talks about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that goes on to show that the reason why Srila Prabhupada is doing that is that we are able to know Krishna in this special Kali Yuga is because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if he was not here, then who would have given us this special insight into Krishna Lila? Jodi Gaur na hoito, tobe ki hoito kemone dhoritam deho. Radharo mohima, premo rosasima, ke dito সকল দেশে. So who would give us the teachings and the leelas and the qualities and everything of Sri Chaitanya, of Sri Krishna, if it was not Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu came and revealed what is going on in Goloka Vrindavan, what Krishna also did not reveal to us. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us that. So obviously it is whatever we are reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is actually what Mahaprabhu has given us access to understand. So that is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorified in every place, not just in the Bhagavatam. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorified by Srila Prabhupada even in the purports of the Bhagavad Gita. Even in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada glorifies Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So because this is Gauranga Mahaprabhu's mercy, that Mahaprabhu has come down from Goloka Vrindavan, bringing the Premadhan of Goloka Vrindavan, which is Krishna Prem, and he is freely distributing that for everyone in Kali Yuga. That is the specialty. And that's the special privilege that all of us have. So whatever, whether we be reading Srimad Bhagavatam or whether we are reading Sri Bhagavad Gita, our gratitude to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should always be there, because how to apply the principles of the Bhagavad Gita, how to apply the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam in our life, we learn from the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He lived the life of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, madam, because while reading, I felt like, okay, no, I should be reading Chaitanya Charitamrita now, but then it's really nice to read that and get a glimpse of for the kids. It was basically the kids were reading it, so I had that read.
Very nice. Thank you.
For the wonderful
Thank you.
Class. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I have a question from YouTube, from Shiva Prabhu. How comparable is Mahaprabhu's teachings like Krishna's teachings in the Bhagavad Gita? Well, Mahaprabhu actually taught us how to apply the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita in our day-to-day life. That is the glory of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like we were just talking. Krishna has instructed in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Or Krishna says, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. How to do that? Krishna has just given us instructions. He has just given us teachings. But how to apply them in our personal lives is being taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the credit and the glory of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu literally taught us through the Shikshashtakam verse, the 8 verses of the Shikshashtakam, that how we can actually surrender, what surrender to Krishna actually means. It's very just easy to say, oh, we need to surrender to Krishna. But what does it mean to surrender to Krishna? How do we surrender to Krishna? That is what is explained by the glorious life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu has taught us personally how to live the life of the Bhagavad Gita and how to live the life of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhu, I hope that answers your question. If there's any other questions.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have a small question.
Yes, Please.
Mataji, I was listening a video regarding Jaidev Goswami.
Yes. Sorry, I can't hear you. Guess you went mute. I can't hear you.
So I had a doubt, like, was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already present before Kali Yuga? Thank you, Mataji.
I lost you in between. I did not hear your full question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me, Mataji?
I can hear you now. Yes. Can you please repeat your question? Because I think in the middle you got cut off.
Yes, Mataji, sure. I was listening to Jaidev Goswami's history in a video, and it was mentioned like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jaidev Goswami and said, I will appear in Kali Yuga in Puri, so you can go and wait for me there. Mm-hmm. So, is it Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was already appeared in this world before Kali Yuga?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 5,000 years after Kali Yuga started. Mahaprabhu appeared in 1486, just 500 years ago is when Mahaprabhu appeared in Navadvip. So when Mahaprabhu gave the dream to Jayadev Goswami, Jayadev Goswami, was instructed by Mahaprabhu in the dream that go to Jagannath Puri and I'll find you there. You'll see me there. So that was... it doesn't have to be that, Mahaprabhu was present on this planet at that time to be in a dream. He could have given the instruction to Jayadev Goswami even when he was, not there. So I'm not really clear on your question. But Mahaprabhu's appearance date is this, 1486, which is 500 years ago that Mahaprabhu appeared. So hope that clarifies your question.
Okay, Mataji. Actually, I lost in the middle. Actually, the audio was not proper. But still, I can understand the answer that it's not necessary that he has to be in this plane to come in the tree.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Koti koti dharmat pranam. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Mataji, if you are not tired, can you sing from 10 canto of Sisi Gopi Gita?
Jai Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Hari Bol.
Please forgive us. We are so lalchi. Wants to hear from here to eat from you.
You are making me fortunate by repeating it. So I'm grateful to you. And I just had a little bit of your darshan, so I feel very fortunate to see you. Thank you. At the end, we'll definitely sing. Jai, Hari Bol. Yes. I will definitely honor your request. But if there's any more questions?
Not a question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Such a beautiful class, as always. Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you very much for your beautiful comment, as always. Any other questions? All right, if there's no other questions, I'll just honor Vrinda Gopika Mataji's. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Just say thank you for your class, Mataji.
Thank you for your association. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm just thinking which verse should I sing. Okay, I will sing 8 and 9 of Shri Gopi Geet. Madhuraya gira Valguvakyaya Budhamanognaya Pushkarikshana Vidhikarima Viramuyati धूना प्याययस्वना तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना। जय श्री गोपी गीत की जय।
जय कलसीता माता जी की जय। कोटि कोटि नमः।
वृंद गोपिका माता जी की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
Thank you for beautiful class, Mataji. I like the Lakshmi pastime.
Thank you, Vrinda. I'm so happy you liked that pastime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, Mataji, thank you once again for the beautiful class, Mataji. I would like to offer my obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Her Grace Kala Sudha Mataji ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.